Hey there, it's Chadi Bazzi, and welcome to this video, which is now a part of the Real Estate NLP Academy. And what I'm going to talk to you about in this video is the single and most important skill that you absolutely need to master. Look, in this course, I'm going to teach you approximately 20 sales strategies, like very advanced sales strategies, and every single one of them works, okay? But what's going to make them more effective and what's going to make you more persuasive, more influential, and more successful is by mastering this one skill that I'm going to talk to you about right now. Because this one skill that I'm talking about in this video right here, right now, is what's going to 10x your results in combining the other 20 strategies that you're going to learn. And what skill am I talking about? I'm talking about the skill of how people feel in your presence. See, this is the single most important skill. See, here in real estate, we are in a people-based business. And, you're talking to, a ma'am, you're talking to a sir, you're talking to a couple, you're talking to other human beings, okay? And every single one of those people are either, they're going to feel a specific way in your presence. In your presence could be in person and or it could be over the telephone or a combination of both. It doesn't matter. When people feel good in your presence, guess what? When people feel good in your presence, they listen. Okay? When people feel good in your presence, they have a trusting instinct about you. When people feel good in your presence, they let down their guard. When people feel good in your presence, they don't question what you're saying. When people feel good in your presence, they don't question your intentions. When people feel good in your presence, people tell you anything and everything that you need to know to navigate the sales process and influence them to do what you want them to do. So look, having just shared that with you right now, shouldn't this be like the single most important area for you to focus on building every single day? Because if people feel good in your presence and they do all these things, that if people don't feel good in your presence, then they do the opposite of all that stuff. They're not engaged, they don't trust you, they don't like you, their guard is up, they're questioning your intentions, they're questioning everything. Which one of those two people is easier to do a transaction with? The person who is feels good in your presence, or the person who doesn't feel good in your presence? It's obviously the person who feels good in your presence. So let that be the single most important goal of yours. Let this be the single most important lesson, the single most important strategy that you should place a high importance on and make time for to learn and master every single day. So with that said, let's dive in and give you some, strategies on how to do that. How to do that, how to become a master of that. First of all, write down the following. Write down the response I am getting. The response I am getting is a reflection of my approach. The response I am getting is a reflection of my approach. What does that really mean? That simply means that you are taking responsibility for how people feel in your presence. If someone doesn't feel good in your presence, take responsibility for that. And blame it on the approach. Change your approach, you change the result. Okay. Now I bring this up right here is because most people are always blaming, well, that person is this and that person is that. The weather's like this, the weather's like that, whatever it may be. That doesn't get you anywhere. Look, I get and I understand that there's certain people, they're not going to like you no matter how good you are at whatever you do, no matter how great of a person you are. There's always going to be somebody out there that wants absolutely nothing to do with you. And that's perfectly fine. That's the person you shouldn't be working with. But what I'm talking about is there's a great majority of people out there who have been burnt by life, who have been burnt by another salesperson, who have been taken advantage of, who life may have dealt them a bad card or whatever it may be. Therefore, their caution level is way up there, okay? And people naturally have their guard up. You got to bring that guard down. You do that by taking responsibility and really identifying what approach you should take in order for you to create the response that you are wanting. So now let's talk about the approaches that you should take. There's three of them specifically. Before I even get into the three specific approaches that I want you to really work on mastering here, I want you to write down something else. Okay, I want you to write down listening is the foundation to all my influence. Listening is the foundation to all my influence. So let's talk about, basic human psychology, basic human behavior. What do people want right now more than anything else? They want to be heard. They want to be listened to. Think about, put yourself in this equation for a moment. Who's listening to you? I don't know. Maybe if somebody's listening to you, if you're being heard and you're very happy and content, hey, you've done good for yourself. You got good people in your life. Bravo. Most people, and I'm talking about like literally 90% of the population, is like neglected by their family members, neglected by their loved ones, neglected by, their parents, their siblings, their everyone. Okay, so everyone is craving love. Everyone is craving that listening. Everyone wants to be heard. So when you listen to somebody, like you genuinely listen to someone, and how you listen with your eyes and you hear with your ears. Listen with your eyes and hear with your ears. When you genuinely listen to someone, what happens is magic. That's what happens. What happens is magic. People begin to feel like you care. People begin to feel like you care. Again, what do people want? They want people to care about them. They want people to care about what they think. They want people to care about how they feel. How do they know that you care? By your listening. By your listening. So listen to people very intently and genuinely. I always tell my coaching clients, be genuine, be sincere, be authentic, and be honest. Because when you're genuine, sincere, authentic, and honest, man, that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants. There's no way you can be rejected, okay, or objected to if you are being all those four things. So practice being authentic, genuine, honest, and sincere. When you're being those four, guess what happens? Your attachment to the result is removed. And when you are no longer attached to the result, guess what happens? You experience more and better results. So let's just recap real quickly. So number one, no order of importance, we said be authentic, be genuine, be honest, be sincere. We said your listening is the foundation to all your influenceability. We said, the response you are getting is a reflection of your approach. So now let's talk about the approach. Okay. So number one is I want you to begin to mimic the rate of speech of every single person you meet. Mimic the rate of speech. What am I talking about? Some people speak very fast, some people speak very slow, and some people are average speakers. Okay. I know that certain people that hang out with each other, okay, they already have that trust already built up. So people like people who are like themselves. Okay, people like people who are like themselves. So when you show up like you are like that person, again, guard goes down, more acceptance, you look familiar, you sound familiar, you behave familiarly, and then you're part of the tribe. And if you're part of the tribe, guess what happens? Business. If you appear as if you are someone who is from a different place, then you appear as if you are someone who has a different agenda. And if you have a different agenda, people don't know your agenda. So what happens to the guard? It goes up. Okay, so your job is to appear as if you are someone that's someone who you are trying to influence, get to know, do a transaction with. Familiarity. Okay, you gotta break down the barrier. So you do that by mimicking rate of speech. So what I want you to do here on forward is every new person you meet, I want you to mimic the rate of speech. If they're speaking very quickly, speak very quickly. If they're speaking very slow, I want you to slow down. If they're average speakers, I want you to just be average. Let me give you an example. Think of right now of an elderly person that you know. It could be a grandparent, it could be a neighbor, it could be a friend, it could be whatever. Somebody who's elderly. Okay, elderly people naturally speak slow. Now think about the last time you had a conversation with that elderly person. Did you speak in your normal tone and or your normal speed, or do you find yourself softening your voice or maybe raising your voice because they're hard on hearing, and maybe speaking a little bit slower. I guarantee you, if you really think about it right now, you did one of those things. You either raised your voice because they needed to hear you, and or you slowed down your speed so they can comprehend you. See, you're already doing that with the people that you know, you like and trust, and they know you like you and trust you. And that's why there is that bond, okay? Because there is that safety net. So now what I want you to do is I want you to be that kind of person with every single person who you don't know. Why should you do that? Because everyone that they know is naturally doing that. Just like everyone you know, you're naturally doing it too. So whatever it is that you're doing to the people that you belong with right now we're focusing on just rate of speech. I want you to start doing that with every single person whom you currently do not know. Now, is it really that easy? Well, let's create a little challenge right here. What I want you to do sometime over the course of the next 1 week is every single day, I want you to do what I told you to do so far, but I want you to do something different just for a challenge. I want you to, with one person, just one person a day for the next 7 days, a person every single day that you don't know, I want you to do the opposite too. What do I mean? If they speak very fast, I want you to speak very slow. If they speak very slow, I want you to speak very fast. And I want you to pay attention to the outcome of that conversation. Is it one that's pleasant, or is it one that feels kind of awkward and etc.? See, that's what's really going to teach you the value of how important it is. If the opposite, you being aware and you intentionally doing the opposite every single day is creating a feeling of awkward, then guess what? Get that. That's exactly what you've been doing every single day for as long as you've been in this business without you even knowing it. And that's exactly all more of a reason as to why you need to pay attention and start doing this starting right now. So mimic the rate of speech. So that's one. Next, mimic tonality. Mimic tonality. What do I mean by mimic tonality? Well, what do I mean by mimic tonality is, tonality is reference to the pitch and pronunciations, okay? Different people speak in different tones. But what I know is that, people in LA speak a specific tonality. People in New York speak a different tonality. People in Alabama speak a different tonality, etc. So if I'm calling someone right now, like with my current tonality, if I'm calling someone in Alabama and they say hello, or however they answer the phone, and I say, hi, this is Chadi Bazzi with blah, 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 blah. Instantly, without them even thinking about it, do I sound like someone that they know, or do I sound like someone that they don't know? Answer that. I sound like someone that they don't know. The people you don't know fall into a category of a stranger, right? Mommy and daddy raised you up and told you don't talk to what? Don't talk to strangers. What does that mean? That means your mommy and daddy ruined you. No, I'm just joking. Mommy and daddy didn't ruin you. They were just trying to protect you. But see, what I'm trying to tell you is human conditioning, human behavior is that's how we are brought up. So when somebody identifies a stranger, what do? They try to protect themselves from strangers. So it is your job to appear as if you are someone who is not a stranger. And how you do that? By speaking like them. We already talked about earlier about mimicking rate of speech. Now we're talking about mimicking tonality. Look, some of you are probably thinking to yourself right now, but aren't these people gonna know that I'm like mimicking them? Look, in my years, and I've been exposed to these strategies for about 15 years, and I thought exactly just like you when I first was exposed to them. Like, people are gonna think I'm making fun of them. I don't sound Chinese or Latino or Middle Eastern or, whatever. But it's not about we're not mimicking these people in a, negative way, in a disrespectful way. We're doing that with the intention on purpose of creating a connection with that person, because until we create that connection, we can't really help that person. And we are people of contribution. We want to help these people. And if we don't connect with them, then basically what we're doing is we're leaving these people at risk to be taken advantage of by someone else. That's not our intention. So we got to do everything we possibly can in our power to create that connection. And how you do that? By following step number 2, which is mimic tonality. So let's move on to step number 3. And this one specifically for What would you say? Number three, because I just thought I'm going to add number three, which I really don't talk much about, but it's very important. And then we'll talk about number four, which is the big one. Number three is mimic their energy levels. Mimic their energy levels. Okay. Look, if you call up somebody and they sound like kind of tired and they're like, and you come off excited, what's gonna happen? Boom. You're gonna break the rapport. If someone is tired, if someone is feeling low energy or feeling depressed, and you come on very excited, they don't want to be around you, and you don't want to be around them, etc. So I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple and say, mimic their energy levels. Now let's move on to the big one. And this is like the big one, because when you get together in person, what you want to do is you want to mimic body language. Mimic body language, okay? And, or now, I might say mimic, mirror and match body language. Mirror and match body language, okay? So body language and gestures. Gestures, and I'll explain gestures to you in a moment. So for example, if somebody is sitting down, then sit down. And if somebody is has their arms crossed like this, so basically if you're watching this video, you're looking at me, I got my right arm crossed over my left arm. Now if I'm looking at a mirror, okay, it would appear that I got my left arm crossed over my right arm, because that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to create a split mirror image. And that's what I want you to do, create a split mirror image. So if the person in front of you is sitting with the right arm crossed over the left arm, then you should cross your left arm over your right arm, because then you would become a split image of them. Remember what I told you earlier in this video, that people like people who are like themselves, okay? People like people who are like themselves, so I need you to appear as if you are someone who is exactly like them. Now, if someone goes like this, then, do I want you to do this? I kind of want you to do this, yes, but I don't want you to do it exactly. It's like somebody goes like this. I don't want you to go like this right away, because that looks like monkey see, monkey do, and like, you're mocking them and you're making fun of them. So you always want to keep about a 10 to 15, second delay. And do I want you to mirror and match every single gesture and every single body movement? The answer is no. I want you to mimic or mirror and match approximately 75% of that. 75% of that. Okay, so we talked about, mirror and matching body language. Now let's talk about, mirror and matching gestures. I mean, look, you're watching this video. What am I doing? Look at my hands. You see my hands? See, like, I was going like this, and I was going like this, and I was going like this, and, etc. I want you to pay attention to these gestures for two different reasons. Number one, so you could mirror and match it, okay? And let's talk about the mirror matching one, then, we'll talk about number two, which is for the cues, okay? Number one is, look, if somebody is speaking to you and they're asking you questions, and in the way that they're asking the questions, like if you see me, like, I talk a lot with my hands, okay? So when you talk back to me, and you talk back to me like this, it's gonna break the rapport. It's gonna feel like an uncomfortable thing. It's gonna feel like I'm at a job interview or something. What I want you to do is, if somebody's asking questions with their hands and or speaking with their hands, I want you to do the same exact thing. I want you to do the same exact thing. And then we said number two is, pay attention to, their gestures for reasons, because if you're speaking to me, okay, if you're speaking to me and I'm listening to you, but I'm like this, but I'm like this, like, I'm like listening to you and I'm like this. What does that look tell you? What does that look tell you? That look tells you that I may be like trying to, question what it is that you're saying. Why is that important? Because in that moment, you know that rapport is being what? Is being destroyed in that moment. It simply means that you're breaking the rapport in that moment. It simply means that you gotta alter and change your approach in that moment to go ahead and create that rapport. So look, man, I want you to practice being present, okay? Present, okay? I want you to look people straight in the eye when they speak to you. I want you to listen with your eyes and hear with your ears. Remember that. I mean, you want to like ink that. You want to tattoo that in like inside of your eyelids, like literally listen with your eyes and hear with your ears. Because there's nothing worse than you speaking to somebody and then somebody's overlooking your shoulder trying to see what is going on in the surrounding. There's nothing worse than that. You know, you're not stupid. You know when someone's doing that to you, they're really not paying attention to you. They're listening, they're pretending to listen to you. Remember what I said to you earlier? Listening is the foundation. Everyone in everyone's life is pretending to listen to them. Nobody's really listening. You master this right here, and I promise you, man, I promise you that is going to be the key to where, you know, people are going to like send you so much referrals because they feel so good about who you are and they trust that you're going to take care of their family and friends. So look, guys, this is like the big conversation on building rapport. And I want to go ahead and just debunk a myth real quickly. Okay, I want to debunk a myth right here because there's a lot of gurus out there, a lot of people that say, you know, try to find something that you have in common with someone and that will help you build rapport. That right there is so not true, my friends. That right there is so not true. You know, having something in common with someone doesn't create rapport. Okay, common behavior. Okay, well, I'll say it like this. Common interest does not create rapport. Common behavior creates rapport. And that's what I'm teaching you in this video. Just because you and I both like dogs, it doesn't mean I'm going to like you and give you a transaction. Just because you and I both like Ferraris, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to ride a Ferrari together and we're going to be the best friends or anything like that. It doesn't mean nothing. I mean, that could become the result, but the result isn't necessarily because we both have that common interest. It's because we also have common behavior, you know, that gives us, that takes the interest level to the next level. So guys, look, this is it. Over the course of the next 16, 17 weeks in this NLP training, I really want you to pay attention to this like a lot. So I'll be bringing this up, you know, throughout the 16, 17 weeks. I'm going to say, so who's mimicking greater speech? I'll be putting updates in the Facebook group, etc. About that, but I definitely want you guys to be paying a lot of attention to that. I definitely want you guys to, you know, almost on a daily basis, you know, when you experience a huge victory or, you know, something good comes out of what I'm teaching you about building rapport, which I know a lot of good's going to come out of it when you apply what I'm teaching you. I want you to just do me a favor and just go in the Facebook group and just just share your experience, you know, with me and with all of us, because you know, some people in the group may not be taking it very seriously, or some people in the group may be struggling with it, and some people in the group may just need to see evidence that it's working for you. So please be that evidence. Please be that person of contribution, so we can help other people out as other people help you out in other areas, etc. And in your role plays, be practicing this every single day in your role plays. With your role play partners, try to stump your role play partner. Like, you know, when you get on the phone to do a role play with, you know, someone from the group, and, you know, just change your rate of speech, because you know what their rate of speech is. See if they're going to catch on to that or not. Change your tonality a little bit, change your energy level, etc. And then if they don't like naturally, you know, mirror match you and or mimic you, then that would be a point that you want to go ahead and call them on, etc. You know, so you can help them create that awareness as they would do the same exact thing for you. So guys, I think this is it for the rapport building conversation. This is a video that I would highly challenge you to watch like at least a couple of times a month. Like right now, put it in your calendar and or your reminders application, whatever you use to remind you every other week to go back and watch this very short video. That is the most important video in this whole entire course. So that's it for today, and I look forward to you becoming a master of influence and a top listing agent. I'll see you. Bye-bye.